Alrighty everyone, so it is Taurus season, and one of the herbs associated with Taurus season in the month of May is one that at this time of year is already super prolific, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. That herb is none other than mint, and as you can see, there is a lot of it already stretching quite far across this little patch. This mint was planted a long time ago, and it has already pretty much taken over not only this entire area, but is also starting to even go around the sides of the house. But, as we're talking about mint today, let's talk about some things you can use it for, medicinally, magically, and where it even came from in the first place. Alrighty guys, so yes, we are talking about mint this month, and as you might guess, this herb does originate from the Mediterranean. One of the most popular myths about this is actually how it even got created in the first place. So there is a story about Pluto, or Hades, falling in love with a nymph named Menthe. And because he fell in love with this, little nymph here, this very pretty lady, Proserpina, or Persephone, got really upset about it and had her transformed into the mint plant to forever be trampled underneath the feet of people. Depending on the story, it will get told a little bit differently. Sometimes it's Persephone who changes Menthe into the plant. Sometimes she seeks help from her mother and it's actually Demeter who turns Menthe into a plant. But nonetheless, that's how we ended up with this plant we have today. It is extremely prolific, and I'm sure you've probably heard garden people talk about it before, but it very much aggressively spreads because it actually kind of tunnels under the ground. So where it is in one spot, it can easily pop up in a totally different spot based on those roots that it digs underground, which is probably how all of this stuff that you saw spread out the way that it did, right? And of course it makes flowers and it makes seeds too, but it definitely spreads aggressively all on its own as well. But nonetheless, there are many different kinds of mint, and you could probably see a few when you go to your garden centers. Like now they have things like strawberry mint and chocolate mint and all these other kinds of things, but the two most popular ones are actually peppermint and spearmint. And throughout time, right, from the Mediterranean all the way as it spread up to England and then was taken by settlers to America, mint has been used for a lot of different things, including even as like a perfume. People would put this in wine to perfume wine. They would even rub it on themselves to get a nice like mint scent on their own skin. So, it has a lot of different uses, both as a perfumer, as a flavoring agent, so on and so forth. And I think for all of us modern people, the place we probably know it to show up most is in toothpaste, right? For that kind of minty, fresh smell. And there's a good reason for it to show up in things like gum or breath mints or toothpaste, right? So the main ingredient that makes mint what it is actually the oil called menthol. And menthol is the thing that gives you that really tingly, cool feeling in your mouth. And menthol is the thing that kills a lot of that bacteria, whether it's in your mouth or it's on a cut or something. It's antibacterial, and so that helps with minor wounds or other such things like that. And in fact, I do actually remember someone in high school, someone that I went to high school with, actually did a whole study on whether or not breath mint worked better than like flavored ones, like fruit flavored ones or something. And at least from what he studied, it turns out that yeah, the mint one actually did reduce mouth bacteria better than the other ones. And another thing that you might have heard, especially because I was always told this growing up, is that peppermint is really good to settle an upset stomach. So if you have like a lot of gas or cramps, or if you have, just a generally queasy, upset stomach, a little bit of peppermint tea actually does go a long way. And it turns out there's a reason for this. This is because peppermint, and just mint in general, is also anti-spasmodic, which means if you are having those cramps or your muscles are twitching and tightening up, this little plant helps relax them, right? And so it also breaks up gas, and it just generally helps out your digestive system. It helps you with digesting a lot better than if you were to go without it. Some other interesting things that I hadn't heard of before were also that this plant is mildly sedative. Apparently, not only is peppermint really good for an upset stomach, but having a little bit of peppermint tea or something like that before bed can actually help you sleep a little bit better, which is pretty cool. And also, I guess it is mildly soothing, mildly anti-inflammatory, so if you have something like a rash or a bug bite, or a sunburn even, people have said to, make some kind of mint tea, peppermint, and make it into ice cubes, and then take those ice cubes and just kind of put them on the affected area to soothe them and cool them down. Once again, do not use herbal remedies unless you have gone to a doctor first or unless you really know what you're doing. Even stuff that is technically edible can be harmful in the wrong amounts. So be sure you know what you're doing, and don't replace your doctor's orders with a cup of tea. Because obviously you're not going to go to the doctors for a very light minor sunburn like I have on my face right now. But if you have third-degree sunburns and sun poisoning, go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. But anyway, because of the potentially helpful medicinal effects that this plant has, there are a lot of interesting uses for it culinarily. And in fact, one of those uses is actually, as a flavoring agent in a powder on things like pea soups. If you guys know anything about things like peas or legumes, they're very fibrous, and that makes it very difficult to digest that for a lot of people. So when you add a little bit of something like mint on top of it, that actually helps to break up any of the gas or the digestion issues that come with things like peas or other legumes. Another really popular place you're going to see mint is in actually a sauce, right? So you can actually make mint sauce, and people really love to put that over lamb chops. I have never done that myself, but it is an application of mint that you might not realize is available to you. When it comes to what I actually do with mint, honestly, there's something I want to try this year, which is making a mint pesto. You can actually take a little bit of mint in your average basil pestos and mix that in for a different and brighter flavor. So there's that. You can also make dessert pestos too, right? So the way I'm thinking, if a pesto is just green thing plus nut plus some kind of fat, right, like an oil, what's to stop you from making like a mint hazelnut pesto and putting that with chocolate? But obviously, at its most simple, peppermint and other kinds of mint make really fantastic teas. So for whatever reason you need to invoke mint or get some into your diet, it's very easily available as peppermint tea or spearmint tea or some kind of gum or anything like that. Super popular, super easy to find, definitely prolific, and definitely something that'll take over your garden if you try to plant it, so keep that in mind. But there is no shortage of this stuff hanging around if all you're looking for is like a simple, quick cup of tea. You can also use it if you are the type to consume alcohol as a garnish or as, one of the main flavors of something like a mojito. One of the key ingredients of mojito is fresh mint leaves that you muddle into the syrup and then, mix in with the rest of the drink. That gives it a really bright pop of flavor and makes it a really nice summer drink. And last but not least, guys, you can just eat the leaves. Very minty, very fresh, exactly what you would expect from mint. And very easy to see where that toothpaste flavor comes from. But plain mint leaf, they are very full of flavor. So what you can do is just tear them up and add them into salads or potato salads or anything else too. So if you're ever making something for a cookout like potato salad or even just a regular salad like regular full of leaf salad, consider adding some strawberry and mint to a normal salad, or consider also throwing some of this into some of those more hearty dishes, right? That'll give that extra pop of flavor and freshness that especially heavy things like potato salad could really use. And of course, if you are not the alcohol drinking type, on top of tea, another thing that I really like to do is just take fresh mint leaves and some lemon juice and put it in some water, put it in the fridge, and let it just infuse. When you just infuse mint, lemon, and maybe cucumber into some water, you get a delicious, really refreshing summer drink that plays really nicely together magically too, right? And now let's actually talk about how this works in magic. So mint, according to Scott Cunningham, is ruled by Mercury and air, which is really helpful to know because that means that mint is a plant that is really helpful with communication and everything else that air and Mercury are really good for, right? Whenever Mercury goes into retrograde, what screws up? Our ability to communicate and a lot of our technology too. Mercury is all about efficiency, logic, strategy, and getting things done efficiently. Likewise, air, if we think of the Suit of Swords and Tarot, that's all about logic, ration, philosophy, communication, and all of those other kinds of more brain-centered things, right? So mint as a plant, fantastic if you are looking to up your communication, if you're looking to travel and get new perspectives, if you are looking to boost your intellect or have really intellectual and philosophical conversations. If you're looking to heal, right? This is a great thing for healing too, to heal any issues you might have with communication. If you don't like to speak up in general, never mind for yourself, mint is one of the first things that can help you with that, on top of something like fiery. But also, when I think of mint and what it plays well with, I definitely think of things like lemon and like chocolate, because who are you talking to, right? On your day-to-day. Not people you don't like. Usually you're talking to people that are your friends, your lovers, anything else like that. So when you combine mint with lemon, which is a symbol of friendship and love and purification, you can have some really great conversations with friends. And if you combine it with things like chocolate, which is a very common thing to see mint with, then you can also invoke those feelings of luxury and love and all those other kinds of fun things. Same with strawberries or raspberries, or any other of those fresh fruits that mint plays really well with. I know this is a weird one to think of with Taurus because Taurus is ruled by Venus and Earth. But think about how well the associations of mint cross over with the properties of Venus. Venus is all about love and beauty and romance and relationships, and no relationship really gets much of a spark without a good communication, right? So if anything, mint is one of those herbs that can actually help Taurus get deeper into what it likes. You know that Taurus likes good, nice things, they like luxury, and they like comfort and beauty, and this is going to open up the ways to communicate what you want and get those things without, necessarily getting misunderstood or having people miss what you mean. So as you start your gardens this year, definitely consider having a little bit of mint in a pot, not in your garden so it doesn't go completely ballistic in there, but also enjoy all the wonderful things you can get out of it, all those wonderful communicative elements. I know that all summer long I'm definitely going to have plenty of opportunity to have nice fresh drinks with plenty of mint, right? Lemon, mint, mojitos, all that kind of stuff, all here available in this little plant that just grows so abundantly. So yeah, with that said, I will see you guys next week for some demos and for some more kitchen witch fun, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. See ya! By the way, if you want to see these videos 2 weeks earlier, consider subscribing to my Patreon, where you not only get all these videos, but also recipe cards, specific deity profiles, and lots of other interesting things to look at. Video tiers start at $10 a month, so definitely consider checking it out.